Close your eyes and let the weight of the modern world dissolve into the salt-crusted air of the Mediterranean. It is the year 250 before the Common Era. You are standing on the deck of a slow-moving wooden galley approaching the golden shores of Alexandria. The sun is setting, painting the sky in strokes of deep violet and burnt orange. Ahead of you, the Pharos lighthouse, one of the wonders of the ancient world, stands as a silent sentinel. Its white marble reflects the dying light, a beacon of knowledge in a vast, dark sea. Feel the rhythmic swaying of the ship. Creak, sway, creak. The sound of the hull cutting through the calm waves is a lullaby. The water here is deep and ancient, holding the secrets of 1,000 shipwrecks in its cold embrace. As the ship glides into the great harbor, the frantic noise of the city begins to fade, replaced by the hushed whispers of the evening breeze. You breathe in, and the air is thick with the scent of cedarwood, sea salt, and distant jasmine blooming in the royal gardens. You step off the ship onto the cool, limestone docks. The stones beneath your feet have been smoothed by the sandals of poets, mathematicians, and kings. There is no rush here. The city is preparing for sleep. The grand colonnades of the Museion stretch out before you, their shadows long and inviting. You are walking toward the heart of human memory, the great library. Every step you take is a step further back into deep time. The marble pillars rise like frozen giants, holding up a ceiling painted with the constellations of a sky that hasn't changed in 2 millennia. Here, time does not move in minutes, it moves in the slow turning of a page. You are safe. You are weary. And the scrolls are waiting to tell you their stories. Leave the grand hall behind and follow the flickering light of a single oil lamp into the scriptorium. This is where the heartbeat of the library lives. The air here is warmer, smelling of beeswax, pressed reeds, and the sharp, earthy scent of iron gall ink. Imagine a long, narrow hall lined with cedarwood slanted desks. During the day, hundreds of scribes sit here in sacred silence, their pens moving across the papyrus like the wings of a moth. But now it is night. The scribes have gone to rest, leaving only the memory of their labor. You walk slowly past the empty stools. On one desk, a half-finished scroll lies open. You see the tools of the craft, a bundle of sharpened reeds, a small stone mortar for grinding pigments, and a jar of black ink made from the soot of sacred fires. Feel the immense patience required for this work. Each letter is a prayer. Each sentence is a bridge across time. The silence here is thick and protective, like a heavy wool blanket. As you stand in the center of the room, you hear a faint, rhythmic sound from outside. It is the wind, gently brushing against the tall papyrus reeds in the Nile delta nearby. Shush! Shush! The same reeds that are now beneath your fingers, transformed into these pages of wisdom. The connection between the earth and the word is absolute. You are part of this cycle. Your thoughts are as light as the dust motes dancing in the moonlight. Every tension in your jaw, every worry in your mind, is being written away, replaced by the blank, peaceful surface of an unrolled page. You are drifting, the ink of the night is flowing over your senses, dark and soothing. You find your way back to your ebony chair. On the table before you lies one final scroll. It is wrapped in undyed linen, secured with a simple wax seal. You break the seal, a tiny, crisp snap, and begin to unroll the papyrus. Your movements are slow, your fingers heavy. Crackle, slide, crackle. The sound of the dry reeds is like the first frost on a winter field. As the scroll opens, you find that it is not covered in ink. There are no diagrams, no letters, no histories of kings. It is blank. It is a vast, empty expanse of cream-colored fibers. This is the most beautiful scroll in the entire library. It represents the space between thoughts. It represents the silence before a song. Stare into the blankness of the page. It is like looking into a soft, sunlit fog. There is nothing to read, nothing to learn, nothing to remember. The white space is a field of rest where your mind can wander without a map. It is an invitation to let go of language altogether. As you gaze at the empty papyrus, your vision begins to blur. The edges of the scroll dissolve into the shadows of the table. The cream color becomes a soft, gray haze. The scroll is a window into the void. It is the final page of the day. The story has ended. The words have vanished. There is only the paper, the silence, and the heavy, sweet pull of sleep. You are closing the book. You are putting out the lamp. You are stepping into the blank, white peace of the night. You return once more to the royal gardens, drawn by the absolute silence of the central reflecting pool. The rain has stopped, leaving the air crisp and washed clean. The surface of the water is a perfect, black mirror, undisturbed by even the slightest breeze. It is so still that you cannot tell where the water ends and the night sky begins. Lean over the edge of the stone basin. See the moon reflected there, a pale, glowing orb floating in a void of liquid ink. Your own reflection is a shadow among the stars. As you watch, a single drop of water falls from an overhanging willow branch. Plink! A single, perfect ripple radiates outward from the center. It moves slowly, a tiny wave of silver light, expanding toward the edges of the pool. Watch it move. It is the only movement in the world. It reaches the stone edge and vanishes, leaving the water even stiller than before. This ripple is like your last remaining thought. It starts in the center of your mind, moves outward, touches the edge of your consciousness, and disappears into the dark. Now, the pool is a void again. No ripples. No movement. Just the infinite depth of the reflected cosmos. The water is cold, deep, and silent. You feel as though you could step into that reflection and float among the stars of 2,000 years ago. The pool is an entrance to a dream. The water is calling your senses to rest. The stars are pulling your eyelids down. The black mirror of the pool is all you see. It is the darkness of sleep. It is the peace of the deep. In the deep heart of the library, there is a man whose name has been forgotten by history, but whose footsteps are the very rhythm of the night. He is the keeper of the lamps. Watch him move through the long, shadowed corridors. He carries a small, brass oil can and a long taper. His movements are slow, deliberate, and silent, honed by decades of walking these same marble floors. Clink, hiss, glow. He stops at a bronze lamp hanging from a silver chain. He trims the wick with silver shears, a tiny, metallic sound that punctuates the silence. He adds a few drops of scented olive oil, and the flame flares up for a moment before settling into a steady, warm amber glow. This light does not pierce the darkness, it embraces it. It creates soft, dancing shadows on the rows of scrolls, making the ancient words seem to breathe. Follow the keeper as he moves from hall to hall. He is a weaver of comfort. As each lamp is tended, a sense of safety spreads through the building. The flickering light is like the slow blinking of a giant, peaceful eye. Your own eyes begin to follow that rhythm. Blinking, slowly, heavily. The warmth of the oil lamp seems to radiate from the walls, wrapping you in a soft, golden heat. The keeper is a guardian of your rest. He ensures that the darkness is never cold and the silence is never empty. He moves further away now, his footsteps fading into a distant, rhythmic pulse. Step, step, peace. The light is dimming. The world is softening. You are sinking into the amber shadows. A change settles over Alexandria. It is a sound so rare, so precious, that the city seems to hold its breath. A soft, rhythmic tapping begins, first on the high stone parapets, then on the flat roofs of the library, and finally, a gentle whisper against the tall windows. It is rain. In this arid land, the rain is a blessing, a grace that falls from the gods to soothe the dry, thirsty earth. Listen to the sound. Tick, tick, shush. It is the most natural rhythm in existence. It hits the stone tiles and flows into the gutters, a liquid song of renewal. You move to a window and watch the droplets streak down the glass, blurring the world outside into a soft, impressionistic painting of grey and blue. The library is a fortress, and the rain is a curtain of safety, separating you from the reality of the waking world. The sound of rain against the ancient masonry creates a white noise, a steady, unvarying hum that occupies your mind completely. It washes away the last remnants of the day. Every drop is a small, soft release of tension. Your breathing naturally syncs with the pattern of the rain. Softly, slowly, the entire building seems to hum with the moisture. The papyrus scrolls breathe in the humidity, swelling slightly, softening in the dampness. You are wrapped in a cocoon of water and stone. The rain will continue all night, a steady, unending lullaby that says, rest. There is nothing else to do but listen. Sleep, the library is safe. Sleep, the world is quiet. Sleep. Leaving the gardens, you find a spiraling stone staircase that leads to the highest balcony of the Museion. Each step is a slow, deliberate movement. The stone is cold, polished by centuries of scholars who look to the heavens for answers. As you reach the top, the entire city of Alexandria lies beneath you like a carpet of fallen stars. But your eyes are drawn upward, to the velvet canopy of the night sky. In this era, the sky is a deep, pure black, untouched by the lights of the modern world. The stars are not just dots of light, they are bright, piercing jewels. This is the deep time of the universe. The light you see tonight left its source thousands of years before the first stone of the library was laid. You are looking at the past while standing in the past. Imagine the great bronze astrolabes and armillary spheres resting on the balcony. They are silent now, their gears still. You lean against the marble balustrade, and the cool night wind from the Mediterranean brushes against your face. It carries the scent of salt and ancient dust. You realize that the same constellations, Orion, the Great Bear, the shimmering Pleiades, have watched over every soul that ever lived. They are constant. They are eternal. As you trace the Milky Way, a river of silver smoke across the zenith, you feel your own thoughts becoming part of that celestial flow. Your mind is as vast as the galaxy, and just as quiet. The rhythmic pulsing of the distant stars is in sync with your heartbeat. Slow, steady, eternal. You are drifting into the cosmic silence. You descend from the heights and begin a slow walk toward the long stone causeway that leads to the island of Pharos. The city is now completely hushed. The only sound is the rhythmic, hypnotic shush, wash, shush of the Mediterranean breaking against the limestone sea walls. This is the heartbeat of Alexandria. The causeway, known as the Heptastadion, stretches out into the dark water. On either side, the sea is a deep, indigo void. With every step, the scent of sea tangle and wet stone grows stronger. Far ahead, the great lighthouse rises 300 feet into the air. At its summit, a massive fire burns, fueled by resinous wood and reflected by giant bronze mirrors. The light sweeps across the waves in a slow, golden circle. Flash, darkness, flash, darkness. You watch the beam of light as it cuts through the mist. It is a pulse of safety. It tells the weary sailors that they are home. And it tells you that it is time to rest. You find a smooth, weathered bench near the base of the lighthouse. The vibrations of the great fire above hum very faintly through the stone, a low-frequency vibration that vibrates in your chest, grounding you. The waves are closer here. You can hear the spray hitting the rocks, a soft, misty sound that feels like a veil being drawn over your senses. The lighthouse is a pillar of fire in a world of water. You are the observer, safe in the shadows, lulled by the eternal dialogue between the sea and the shore. Dark water, golden light, deep sleep. As you walk back through the high, vaulted corridors of the Museion, the silence is no longer empty. It is a living, breathing thing. This is the house of the Muses, the goddesses of inspiration, and their presence is felt in the very vibration of the air. Listen, shush. Can you hear it? It is not a voice, but the ghost of a whisper. It is the collective memory of 1,000 philosophers who once walked these halls, debating the nature of the soul and the size of the sun. Their thoughts have not disappeared, they have simply settled into the stone. Imagine the sound of a soft, Greek vowel echoing off the marble. Ether. Psyche. Cosmos. These words are like smooth stones being dropped into a deep, dark well. They ripple through the silence and disappear. You are walking through a forest of ideas, but you do not need to understand them. You only need to feel their weight. The whispers are a steady, low-frequency hum, like the sound of a distant beehive. It is a comforting sound, a reminder that you are surrounded by wisdom that has survived for centuries. You are not alone in the dark. You are protected by the minds of the past. As you move deeper into the inner sanctum, the whispers become softer, slower, until they are just the sound of your own breath. In, out, in, peace. The echoes are fading. The stone is drinking the sound. The Museion is a temple of quiet. You are the only one awake, and soon you too will join the silent thinkers in their eternal, dreamless study. Beyond the stone walls of the scriptorium, a heavy bronze door opens into the royal gardens of the Museion. Step out into the cool Egyptian night. The transition from the dry scent of scrolls to the lush, humid fragrance of the gardens is like a cool drink of water. Here, the deep timer of the earth speaks through the ancient trees. Walk down a path made of crushed white shells. They crunch softly under your feet, a rhythmic, grounding sound. To your left, a long rectangular pool of still water reflects the entire night sky. The lotus flowers have closed their petals for the night, floating on the surface like sleeping stars. The air is filled with the scent of blooming night jasmine and the citrusy tang of lemon trees brought from far-off lands. There is a giant sycamore tree at the end of the path. Its trunk is wide, its bark silvered by the moon. This tree was here before the library was built, and it will be here long after. Lean against its cool, rough surface. Feel the slow vibration of life within the wood. The earth is breathing beneath you. The roots reach deep into the dark soil, drinking from the hidden veins of the Nile. The rustle of the leaves above is 1,000 voices whispering at once, telling you that it is okay to let go. The world is vast, the history is long, and you are exactly where you need to be. In this garden of shadows, the only task you have is to breathe. In and out. The garden is a green cathedral of sleep. You are sinking into the soft, mossy earth of the past. You enter the great hall. The air here changes, it becomes cooler, stiller, and carries the dry, sweet aroma of aging papyrus and beeswax. The scale of the room is immense, yet it feels like a protective cocoon. Thousands of niches, the armaria, line the walls from floor to ceiling, each one cradling dozens of scrolls wrapped in fine linen. These are the thoughts of souls long gone, resting in a silence that has lasted for centuries. Listen to the echo of your footsteps on the polished mosaic floor. Each step is a soft, muffled thud, swallowed by the vastness of the hall. To your left, a row of high windows allows the moonlight to spill across the floor in silver pools. Outside, the night birds of Egypt sing a low, haunting melody. You find a seat carved from dark ebony, cushioned with soft silks. As you sit, you feel your muscles let go of their last tensions. Your shoulders drop. Your breath slows. In front of you lies a single unrolled scroll of heavy, cream-colored papyrus. The ink is dark and crisp, written by a hand that moved with patient precision. It speaks of the stars, the same stars that are watching over you tonight. You trace the edge of the scroll with your mind. It is slightly rough, a texture born from the reeds of the Nile. The library is a fortress of peace. No conflict can reach you here. Only the soft rustle of a distant curtain and the faint, rhythmic pulse of the city breathing in its sleep. You are drifting deeper into the corridors of the past. High above the marble steps of the Museion, the two massive bronze doors, engraved with the history of the stars, begin to move. They do not swing, they glide, driven by their own immense, ancient weight. Listen to the sound of the bronze on the stone floor. HRRR. Hum, HRRR. It is a low-frequency vibration that you feel in your very marrow. These doors are the boundary between the world of noise and the sanctuary of the eternal. As they draw closer together, the sliver of moonlight from the outside world becomes thinner and thinner. The salt air of the harbor is being sealed away. The sound of the distant city is being cut off. You are being enclosed in a cocoon of perfect, absolute safety. Watch the two edges of the bronze meet. Clink! A single, metallic note that rings through the halls and then fades into a velvet silence. The seal is complete. The library is now a world unto itself, a dark, silent vault of human memory. You are inside. You are safe. You are protected by 3 feet of solid metal and 1,000 years of stone. There is no way for the worries of the morning to reach you here. The doors will not open again until the world has changed. You are in the heart of the mountain. You are in the center of the peace. The silence is now a physical presence, a soft pressure against your ears, telling you it is finished. The world is locked away. You are free to sleep. In your mind's eye, leave the walls of Alexandria and travel once more across the moonlit sands toward the horizon. There, rising out of the desert like a solid shadow, is the Great Pyramid. It is a shape of absolute, unshakable perfection, the triangle of eternity. In the deep time of the earth, the pyramid is a mountain built by human hands to mimic the mountains of the gods. Observe the 4 sloping faces. They meet at a single point that reaches for the North Star. The geometry is so precise that it aligns with the very axis of the planet. There is a profound, heavy peace in this shape. A triangle is a form that cannot be moved. It is the most stable structure in existence. Imagine your own body taking on this stability. Your base is wide and heavy, anchored deep into the cool, dark sand. Your thoughts are converging toward a single, quiet point of light at the summit. The limestone casing of the pyramid is cold now, reflecting the silver light of the moon like a giant mirror. It has stood in this silence for thousands of years, watching the rise and fall of every star. It does not hurry. It does not change. It simply is. Feel that isness in your own bones. You are a monument of rest. You are a structure of peace. The desert around you is a sea of gold, and you are the anchor at its center. The geometry of the pyramid is a lullaby for the soul. Square base, sloping side, silent peak. You are as solid as the stone. Look closely at the high, cedarwood shelves in the great hall. In the stillness, you can see the dust motes dancing in the silver beams of moonlight. This is not ordinary dust. This is the deep time of the library. It is composed of tiny fragments of papyrus from 1,000 years ago, microscopic grains of sand from the Great Sea, and the evaporated breath of 1,000,000 scholars. Watch a single dust mote as it drifts downward in slow motion. It has no weight. It has no hurry. It takes minutes to travel a few inches through the heavy, silent air. This is how time moves in Alexandria. It does not rush toward a future, it settles gently into the past. Imagine this dust settling on your own worries, covering them in a fine, silver veil of forgetfulness. One by one, your thoughts are being buried under this soft, ancient sediment. The scrolls themselves are heavy with this time. They sit in their niches, undisturbed for decades, holding their breath. There is a profound dignity in this stillness. To be still is to be powerful. To be quiet is to be wise. As the dust settles on the marble floor, it creates a velvet carpet of silence. You are part of this layer of history now. You are becoming a statue of peace, a monument of rest. The weight of the centuries is not a burden, it is a warm, heavy blanket, pressing you down, down, into the deepest layers of the earth's memory. Quiet, still ancient. Your mind wanders out of the library, drifting south across the dark sands of the Giza Plateau. There, in the absolute silence of the desert, the great Sphinx sits in its eternal crouch. It has watched the sun rise and set for over 2,000 years before Alexandria was even a dream. It is the ultimate monument to deep time. Imagine the face of the Sphinx in the moonlight. Its eyes are open, yet they see nothing of the transient world. They look through the stars, into the void. The stone of its face is weathered by 1,000,000 sandstorms, smoothed by the hands of time. But tonight, the desert is still. Not a single grain of sand moves. The silence of the desert is a heavy, physical weight, a great quiet that hums in the ears. The Sphinx is the guardian of the threshold between the waking world and the underworld of dreams. As you visualize its massive, leonine form, you feel a sense of immense protection. Nothing can disturb this ancient watcher. And if the Sphinx can sit in silence for millennia, surely you can let go of this one night. Its heavy, stone eyelids seem to be closing in your own mind. The weight of the desert, the weight of the pyramids, the weight of the stars, it is all pressing down on you with a gentle, irresistible force. You are sinking into the sand of time. You are becoming a part of the landscape. The desert is a vast, golden bed. The Sphinx is your silent companion. Sleep is not an end, it is a return to the stone. A window stands open at the end of the hall, facing south toward the great delta. The wind has shifted. It no longer smells of the salt sea, but of the ancient Nile itself. This is the scent of life in its most primal form. Breathe in the cool, damp fragrance of the river's mud, the Kemet or black land that gave Egypt its name. It is a rich, fertile smell, like wet earth after a long summer. Mixed with the mud is the scent of crushed papyrus reeds and the sweet, rotting stalks of lotus flowers. This is the smell of growth and decay, a cycle that has repeated for millions of years in a deep time. The Nile is the spine of the world, flowing steadily through the darkness, unhurried and unstoppable. Imagine the water sliding past the reeds. Glug, ripple, slide. It is a heavy, powerful movement. As the river air fills the library, it brings a sense of profound grounding. You are connected to the soil. You are connected to the water. The humidity softens the dry edges of the scrolls, and it softens the dry edges of your mind. Your skin feels cool and hydrated in the misty air. The Nile is a giant, silver serpent sleeping in the dark, and you are resting on its banks. The river does not rush, it simply exists. And in this moment, you simply exist. No past to regret, no future to fear. Only the steady, rhythmic breath of the great river, pulling you down into the fertile darkness of the earth. You wander toward the outskirts of the library, toward the great harbor warehouses where the world's wealth gathers. The air here is thick, heavy with the ghosts of distant lands. You walk past rows of cedar crates, each one marked with seals from kingdoms you have only read about in scrolls. Breathe deeply. Can you smell the faint, lingering scent of myrrh? It is a resinous, earthy aroma that anchors the soul to the present moment. Beside it, the sharp, sweet tang of cinnamon carried on the backs of camels across burning sands, and the cool, clean scent of frankincense. These spices traveled for months, riding the slow turning of the seasons, crossing oceans and mountains to find their way to Alexandria. This is the scent of connection. It is the history of human movement, compressed into a breath. As you inhale these perfumes of antiquity, you feel your consciousness expanding, stretching out across the map of the ancient world. You are not just in a library anymore, you are at the center of the world. The crates are stacked high, creating a labyrinth of comfort. The space is narrow, shielded from the wind, filled with the warmth of the day's trapped heat. You sit on a cool stone floor, resting your back against a crate of silken textiles. The world outside is a bustling place of noise and commerce, but here, in the dim, spicy shadows, it is silent. The scents are like a blanket, heavy and soft, pulling you down into the dark, fragrant earth of deep rest. In the highest, darkest corner of the geometry alcove, a tiny life moves in perfect, rhythmic silence. It is a garden spider that has found its way inside, away from the humid night of the delta. Watch it work in the silver glow of the moon. It does not hurry. It does not worry about the rise and fall of empires or the burning of stars. It only knows the tension of the silk. Pull, anchor, weave. The sound of its movement is below the threshold of human hearing, a micro-vibration in the still air. The silk it spins is a silver thread, thinner than a human hair, yet stronger than the bronze of the Pharos. It creates a perfect, geometric web, a mandala of patience. As you watch the spider move, your own focus narrows. The world of big problems, of loud noises and bright lights, shrinks until it is just this one silver thread. The web is a map of stillness. It catches the moonlight and holds it. Imagine your thoughts becoming like that silk, light, delicate, and anchored to the ancient stone. You are no longer a person with a history, you are just a point of awareness in a vast, dark room. The spider finishes its work and retreats to the center of the web, becoming as still as the marble itself. It is waiting for nothing. It is simply being. You, too, are simply being. The web of the night is woven around you, soft and unbreakable. You are caught in the silk of sleep. Return now to the library, to the inner sanctum where the ceiling is painted with the constellations of the ancient world. In the darkness, the painted stars seem to catch the faint, reflected light from the marble floors. It is as if the building itself has become a mirror of the universe. Look up at the Great Bear, the Hunter, and the shimmering veil of the Pleiades. These are not just symbols, they are the maps of human destiny. But tonight, the maps are folded away. You are not looking for a direction. You are looking into the depth. The blue of the ceiling is the deep, dark blue of a dreamless ocean. It is a color that pulls the eyes shut. Imagine the ceiling slowly descending toward you like a soft, painted silk canopy. It is not heavy, it is a weightless layer of starlight. It settles over your bed, over your shoulders, over your tired eyes. The stars on the ceiling begin to pulse very slowly, very softly. Glow, fade, glow, fade. It is the heartbeat of the cosmos. As you watch the pulse of the painted sky, your own breathing matches its rhythm. You are no longer under the ceiling, you are inside the sky. The library has dissolved. The walls have melted away. There is only the infinite, blue-black mirror of the night. You are floating in the center of the reflection. You are the star. You are the dark. You are the dream. Outside the great hall, in the center of the marble courtyard, stands a massive red granite obelisk. It was brought here from the ancient city of Heliopolis, carved from a single block of stone by thousands of hands. It is a finger of stone pointing at the infinite. During the day, it is a sundial, marking the passage of the hours with a sharp, moving shadow. But tonight, it is a moon dial. The silver light of the full moon hits the pyramid ion at its peak, and a long, soft shadow stretches across the courtyard like a dark velvet ribbon. Watch that shadow. It does not move to the ticking of a clock. It moves with the rotation of the earth, a movement so slow that it is invisible to the eye, yet as certain as the rising of the tide. The shadow is a path of darkness, a corridor of peace. Imagine yourself walking into that shadow. It is cooler there, quieter, a sanctuary within a sanctuary. The granite of the obelisk is millions of years old. It has seen civilizations rise and fall like the waves of the sea. Standing in its shadow, you feel the deep timer of the planet. Your life, your day, your hour, they are but a blink in the eye of the stone. This realization is not frightening, it is a profound relief. You do not have to carry the world. The stone will carry it for you. The shadow of the obelisk is a blanket of history, covering you in a deep, heavy, and eternal rest. You return to the great hall and lean your head against one of the massive Corinthian columns. Close your eyes and feel the stone. Beneath the cool surface of the marble, there are veins of gray, green, and deep violet. These are the mineral memories of the earth, created by immense pressure and heat millions of years before humans walked the earth. As you press your temple against the stone, you begin to hear it, not with your ears, but with your bones. It is the pulse of the marble. It is a sound so slow that a single beat lasts for a century. It is the vibration of the tectonic plates, the shifting of the continents, the slow cooling of the planet's core. This is the ultimate perspective. The stone does not care about the fleeting worries of a single night. It has seen the oceans rise and fall. It has felt the weight of glacier and the heat of volcanoes. By touching the marble, you are connecting to that indestructible endurance. Your own heartbeat slows down, trying to match the rhythm of the stone. Your bones feel heavy, like granite. Your skin feels cool, like polished lime. You are no longer a creature of flesh and blood, you are a part of the architecture of the world. You are a pillar of the night. You are as permanent as the library itself. The marble is singing a song of billion-year-old silence. Listen and let go. The stone is holding you. The earth is your bed. In a small alcove, tucked away behind a curtain of heavy linen, the head librarian has finally succumbed to sleep. In his mind, he is walking through a version of the library that has no walls and no end. It is the infinite shelf. Imagine a corridor of books that stretches to the horizon and beyond. The shelves are made of starlight, and the books are bound in the fabric of dreams. As he walks, he doesn't need to read the titles. He simply feels the hum of the information, the music of mathematics, the rhythm of poetry, the steady pulse of history. It is a symphony of silence. This is the place where all lost things are found. The scrolls that were burned, the words that were forgotten, the thoughts that were never spoken, they are all here, resting in the golden haze of the infinite shelf. You are invited into this dream. You are walking beside the librarian, your footsteps making no sound on the floor of clouds. There is no weight here. There is no gravity. There is only the soft, glowing light of a billion ideas at peace. The shelves are moving past you like a slow-motion train. Slide, hum, slide. You are drifting deeper into the architecture of the mind. The library is not a building, it is a state of grace. And you are at its very center. Sleep, for the shelves are endless. Sleep, for the story never ends. On a small side table in the librarian's study, a large glass hourglass sits in the moonlight. It is filled with the finest, golden sand from the heart of the Sahara. Watch the grains as they fall through the narrow neck of the glass. Hush, hush, hush. It is the sound of time itself being poured from one vessel into another. Each grain is a second, a minute, a memory. But here, in this deep timer of the night, they do not move with the frantic pace of the day. They fall in slow motion, like golden snow. Each grain has a weight, but together they create a soft, silent mound at the bottom of the glass. The mound is growing, a small mountain of forgotten hours. Watch as the top bulb of the glass becomes emptier and emptier. The space at the top is a vacuum of peace, a place where time has already passed and no longer exists. Soon there will be only one grain left. Watch it as it trembles on the edge, then falls. The final grain. It settles into the pile, and the movement stops. The hourglass is full, and yet it is empty. Time has run out, and in its place there is only the vast, still present. You are that pile of sand. You are heavy. You are grounded. You are finished with the day. The glass is silent. The sand is at rest. The clock of the world has stopped for you. Imagine a small, clear glass bowl filled with the purest water from the mountains. Beside it, a single drop of dark, concentrated indigo ink. Now, in your mind's eye, watch as that drop falls. Plop! It hits the surface, and for a split second, it is a perfect, dark pearl. Then, it begins to bloom. It spreads out in slow, swirling ribbons, like smoke in a windless room. Watch the ink as it dances. It has no shape to maintain. It has no goal. It simply dissolves. This is what is happening to your last remaining thoughts of the day. They are the ink, and the vast silence of the library is the water. The dark blue plumes stretch out, becoming thinner and thinner, lighter and lighter, until they are just a faint, translucent mist. The water in the bowl is becoming a uniform, peaceful twilight blue. There are no edges anymore. No sharp lines. No problems to solve. Just a beautiful, hazy expansion. Your mind is that water. It is cool, still, and colored by the softest shade of evening. You are no longer thinking, you are simply witnessing the ink of your consciousness blend into the ocean of the past. The bowl is full of stars. The ink is the night. Everything is one. Everything is still. The keeper of the lamps has long since finished his rounds, and in the furthest reaches of the great hall, the very last wick is beginning to flicker. Watch the tiny flame as it dances on the edge of the bronze bowl. It is a small, golden heart, beating its last rhythm. Flicker, dip, flare, and then, with a soft, microscopic hiss, it vanishes. A thin, elegant ribbon of white smoke rises from the cooling wick. It curls upward into the darkness, a silver thread of scent. It smells of scorched olive wood and the faint sweetness of resin. Watch that smoke as it loses its shape. It doesn't fight the air, it merges with it. It becomes wider, thinner, more translucent, until it is just a ghost of a shadow against the marble. This is the path of your last waking thought. It is drifting upward, away from the heavy ground of your body. It is spreading out into the vast, cool rafters of the library. There is no shape to hold onto anymore. There is no fire to feed. There is only the cooling oil and the expanding silence. The dark is not a void, it is a soft, velvet presence that welcomes the smoke. You are that ribbon of white mist. You are expanding into the corners of the room. You are becoming the very air itself. Light as a breath. Still as a shadow. Dissolving into the night. You return to a private chamber within the library's inner sanctum, a room dedicated to the study of music and harmony. The walls are draped with heavy linen tapestries to soften the acoustics. On the low tables lie instruments of a forgotten age, silver lyres, flutes made of bone, and harps with strings of twisted silk. Even in the silence, you can almost hear the ghost of a melody, a Phrygian scale played slowly on a double pipe. The music of the ancients was based on the harmony of the spheres, a belief that the planets themselves created a divine sound as they moved. You lie down on a daybed covered in soft Milesian wool. The room is dim, lit only by a single charcoal brazier that glows with a dull, comforting red. Imagine the sound of a single lyre string being plucked. Twang! The note lingers in the air, vibrating until it becomes a part of the silence itself. Then another. These are the sounds of mathematical perfection. They resonate with the water in your body, calming every nerve, soothing every muscle. The tapestry sway ever so slightly in the draft, like the slow breathing of the building itself. You are surrounded by the history of song, by the lullabies of 1,000 years. The music is not in the ears, but in the soul. It is a heavy, golden weight, pressing you down into the cushions, down into the darkness, down into the deep, ancient rest of the library. Step back out onto the balcony of the Museion and look once more toward the sea. The Mediterranean is no longer a dark void, it has become a vast, breathing creature covered in silver scales. The moon is directly overhead now, and its light hits the small, rhythmic ripples of the water, creating a flickering mosaic of mercury and platinum. Watch the water. Rise, fall, glisten. It looks like the slow, steady breathing of a giant fish sleeping beneath the waves. There is a metallic quality to the air here, a scent of cold iron and wet salt that clears the mind of its last lingering shadows. The sea does not crash against the shore tonight, it laps against the limestone blocks with a soft, hollow sound. Cluck, wash, cluck. It is the sound of a liquid clock that has forgotten how to count the seconds. Imagine your body becoming as fluid and as heavy as that silver water. You are not a solid thing, you are a wave, moving in harmony with the tides of deep time. The moon is pulling at the water, and it is pulling at the gravity of your soul. You are sinking beneath the silver surface, down into the cool, silent depths where the light of the sun has never reached. It is a world of blue shadows and ancient peace. The sea is a cradle of salt. You are the child of the tide. Drift, drift into the metallic silence of the deep. In a small, quiet study deep within the library, the scholar Eratosthenes is long asleep. His scrolls lie scattered, covered in precise diagrams of circles and arcs. You look at these drawings in the soft moonlight. They are the geometry of the world, the calculation of the earth's curve, the shadow of a sunbeam at noon. There is a profound, meditative beauty in geometry. It is the language of the universe. Imagine the perfect circle of the horizon. It is a shape that has no beginning and no end. Follow the curve of an arc with your mind's eye. It is smooth, continuous, and soothing. As you visualize these shapes, the perfect circle, the steady triangle, the gentle arc of the sky, your thoughts begin to mirror their precision. Your mind clears. The chaos of the day simplifies into lines of logic and beauty. There is no need to worry, no need to solve problems. Everything is already perfectly ordered. The universe is a grand, peaceful sphere, rotating in the silent dark. You are a small, safe point on that sphere, held in place by the laws of harmony. Breathe in the stillness of the math. Breathe out the noise of the world. The circle closes. The arc completes. You are becoming as still as the ink on the page. High above you, on the flat roof of the Museion, a silent rain is falling. It is not water, but cosmic dust, micrometeorites that have traveled through the freezing void of space for billions of years before finding their home on this dome. This is the oldest material in the world. It is the deep time of the universe itself. Imagine these tiny, invisible grains of stardust settling on the marble parapets. They are the remnants of dead planets and the seeds of new suns. They carry the coldness of deep space, a stillness that is absolute. As they accumulate, they create a layer of silence that covers the entire building. Feel the weight of this cosmic dust pressing down on the roof above you. It is a gentle, velvet pressure. It is the weight of eternity. You are sheltered beneath this starlight. The roof is strong. The stone is thick. The dust of the stars is a silver blanket that muffles the noise of the universe. There is nothing above you but the infinite dark, and nothing around you but the ancient peace of Alexandria. You are a grain of sand in the desert of the stars. You are a spark of light in the heart of the stone. The world is ending its rotation for you. The stars are closing their eyes. The dust is settling. All is quiet. All is rest. As the hours of the night deepen toward the dawn, a physical change settles over the library. The great blocks of pentelic marble, which have soaked up the fierce Egyptian sun all day, are finally beginning to release their heat. If you place your hand against a pillar, you can feel the transition. It is no longer warm, it is becoming neutral, then cool, then cold. This is the thermal breath of the building. The stone is contracting, settling into its foundations with an invisible, tectonic sigh. The air in the halls becomes crisper, thinner, and easier to breathe. It carries a sense of absolute purity. Imagine the cool sensation spreading from the stone into the air, and then onto your skin. It is like a cool compress being laid across your forehead. Every cell in your body responds to this cooling. Your pulse slows even further. Your muscles, once tight with the day's activities, now feel like they are melting into the dark wool of your cushions. The cooling of the marble is a signal to the earth that the day is truly over. The heat of doing is replaced by the cold of being. You are a statue in this hall of giants. You are as heavy as the stone, and just as peaceful. The cold marble is a grounding force, pulling you down, away from the flickering fire of the mind and into the steady, dark ice of the soul's winter. Now that the doors are closed, the darkness in the library is not an absence of light, it is a substance. It is like a heavy, indigo velvet that has been draped over every shelf, every scroll, and every pillar. Imagine reaching out your hand and feeling the texture of the dark. It is soft, cool, and infinitely deep. This darkness is the deep time before the first star was born. It is the primal rest from which all life emerges. As you lie back into your cushions, the velvet darkness begins to fold itself around you. It covers your feet, heavy and warm. It wraps around your shoulders, easing the last of the tension from your muscles. It moves over your face like a cool, silken veil. You are no longer an observer of the dark, you are becoming the dark itself. There is no difference between the air in the room and the air in your lungs. You are expanding, flowing into the spaces between the atoms of the marble. You are as vast as the hall, as deep as the sea, as silent as the stone. The darkness is a soft, rhythmic pulse, the heartbeat of the universe in its sleep. You are drifting in a sea of ink, and the ink is beautiful. It is the color of total rest. It is the color of the beginning and the end. You are sinking, falling, dissolving into the velvet void. Beyond the city of Alexandria, the great Sphinx still sits in the silver dark. But now, imagine the stone of the Sphinx is not cold. Imagine it is warm, holding the deep, ancient heat of the Earth's core. As the cool night wind brushes across its weathered face, it creates a low, haunting whistle, a sound that has been called the breath of the gods. Listen to that whistle. It is a single, steady note that never changes. It is the sound of the wind moving through the canyons of deep time. It carries with it the dust of empires that have turned to gold and the scent of rain that fell 1,000 years ago. This breath is moving toward you, traveling across the dunes, over the Nile, and through the open windows of the library. It reaches you now, a soft, dry caress against your cheek. It is a breath of absolute ancientness. It tells you that everything is temporary, except for this peace. The wind is a broom, sweeping away the last fragments of your identity, leaving only the stone underneath. You are the Sphinx. You are the watcher. You are the breath. The desert is a vast, soft lung, and you are breathing in sync with its enormous, slow rhythm. In and out. The sand is shifting. The wind is sighing. Sleep is the only language left. As the small hours of the morning approach, the library breathes. It is a dry, soft sound, the collective sigh of 1,000,000 pages. The thousands of papyrus scrolls in their niches are reacting to the drop in temperature. Papyrus is a living thing, born of the Nile's mud and the Egyptian sun. It has a memory of the river. Listen to the microscopic crackle, whisper, crackle, as the fibers settle into the cool night air. It is like the sound of a distant forest in autumn, or the very first stirrings of a dream. Each scroll is a lung, inhaling the stillness of the room. You can almost feel the texture of the reeds, the cross-hatched fibers, the smooth, pressed surface, the slight roughness of the edges. Imagine your own skin becoming as calm and still as that ancient paper. You are being smoothed out by the hands of time. The wrinkles of the day, the sharp edges of your worries, are being pressed flat by the weight of the silence. The library is a vast, dry sea of information, and you are floating on its surface, as light as a single sheet of papyrus. The air is still. The scrolls are sleeping. The knowledge of the world is at rest, and so are you. The breath of the reeds is your breath. Slow, steady, rhythmic. You are a page in the book of the night. Deep within the royal gardens, hidden inside the hollow trunk of an ancient olive tree, a wild beehive has settled for the night. Within the darkness of the hive, thousands of bees are clustered together, their wings still, their tiny hearts beating in a single, unified rhythm. Think of the geometry of the honeycomb, thousands of perfect, translucent hexagons made of golden wax. Each cell is a masterpiece of mathematics, a shape that has not changed in millions of years. This is the deep time of nature. The hive is a sanctuary of order. There is no buzzing now, only a low-frequency vibration, a collective hum that sounds like the very earth itself breathing. Imagine yourself shrinking down, becoming small enough to rest inside one of those golden, waxen cells. It is warm there. It smells of sun-drenched clover, wild thyme, and the sweet, heavy scent of honey. The walls are soft and protective. You are surrounded by the warmth of the hive, held in a communal embrace that requires nothing from you. The hive is a fortress of sweetness in a world of salt. The geometry of the wax is a lullaby for the mind. Hexagon after hexagon, repeating into the dark. You are safe in the gold. You are part of the hum. You are sleeping in the heart of the flower. Deep below the surface of the Nile, far beyond the city walls, the great crocodiles are resting in the reeds. They are the living fossils of deep time, creatures that have not changed since the age of the dinosaurs. They are the heavy, breathing anchors of the river. Listen to the sound of the river through the ground. It is a low-frequency hum, a vibration that travels through the mud, the limestone, and finally into the foundation of the library itself. It is the rhythmic, deep-bellied pulse of the river's life. Thrum, thrum, thrum. It is the slowest heartbeat in the world. Imagine the crocodiles as they float in the warm, dark silt. Their eyes are closed. Their scales are like armor made of ancient stone. They are the embodiment of patience. They do not move for days. They simply breathe with the planet. That same pulse is now vibrating in your own chest. It is a grounding force, a heavy, primal energy that tells your body you are safe. You are protected by the earth. You are part of the ancient cycle. The river is a massive, slow-moving lung. The crocodiles are its steady breath. You are drifting on that breath, sinking into the warm, protective mud of a dreamless sleep. You look out from the balcony one last time, but the horizon is gone. The line where the dark sea meets the dark sky has dissolved into a single, infinite blue-black void. There is no up and there is no down. There is only the expanse. This is the unbound horizon. It is the place where all maps end and all stories begin. It is a frontier of pure, unblemished rest. Imagine yourself floating toward that line. You are as light as a feather, yet as heavy as the ocean. You are moving without effort, drawn by the gravity of the unknown. The library is fading behind you. The marble pillars are becoming shadows, and the shadows are becoming mist. The Pharos lighthouse is just a distant, pulsing star, and then it, too, vanishes. You are alone in the cradle of the universe. The air is cold, but you are warm. The dark is deep, but you are safe. The horizon was a boundary of the waking mind, but in sleep there are no boundaries. You are expanding into the void, becoming as vast as the night itself. The line has vanished. The path is clear. You are the horizon. You are the night. You are the dream. In this final, absolute stillness, you realize that nothing is ever truly lost. The library of Alexandria, the scrolls of the lost poets, the thoughts of the ancient astronomers, they are all still here, vibrating in the very structure of the universe. You are part of the eternal return. Imagine the atoms of your own body. They are the same atoms that once lived in the heart of a dying sun, the same atoms that formed the first grains of sand on the Egyptian shore. You are a bridge across deep time. As you drift toward the final threshold of sleep, you feel a sense of profound belonging. You are not a stranger in this ancient place, you are its rightful inhabitant. The stars are still there, behind the bronze doors and the stone roof, dancing their slow, geometric dance. The Nile is still flowing, silent and unstoppable. The earth is still turning, carrying you through the dark toward a dawn that is still 1,000 years away. There is no rush. There is no time. There is only the rhythm of the eternal. Your breath is the wind. Your bones are the marble. Your dreams are the scrolls. You are returning to the source. You are going home. The library is a cradle. The night is a mother. Sleep, sleep, sleep into the deep, ancient heart of time. Now, move your awareness even deeper than the marble floors, down through the layers of limestone, down into the very bedrock of the earth, the ancient, red granite of Egypt. This is the foundation of the world. It is a stone that was born in the furnace of the planet's creation billions of years ago. It has no memory of the sun, and it does not know the meaning of a storm. It is the absolute zero of movement. Imagine your consciousness sinking into this granite. It is heavy. It is solid. It is eternal. In this deep, subterranean silence, even the sound of the Mediterranean is gone. The pulse of the city is a forgotten dream. You are anchored to the center of the earth. You are a part of the planetary crust, shifting only by a millimeter every 1,000 years. This is deep-timed in its purest form, a time that does not flow, but simply exists. Feel the immense pressure of the world above you, not as a weight, but as a protective embrace. You are held in the palm of the planet. There is no space for a single thought to move. There is no room for a single worry to breathe. You are the stone. You are the core. You are the silence that was here before the first word was ever spoken, and you are the silence that will remain when the last book is closed. You are invincible in your stillness. You are infinite in your rest. The granite is your cradle. The earth is your home. You are sinking deeper than the roots of the mountains into the heart of the world. The library is now a shadow. The stars are a memory. The Nile is a ghost. You have reached the edge of the known, and you are stepping off into the soft, welcoming embrace of the void. This is the place where the story ends and the sleep begins. There are no more words. There are no more images. There is only the steady, rhythmic vibration of the universe, a low, golden hum that is the sound of existence itself. Listen to the silence. It is not empty. It is full of peace. It is full of rest. It is a heavy, warm liquid that is filling your mind, washing away the last traces of the day, the last fragments of you. You are dissolving. You are merging. You are becoming the dark. Your breath is no longer yours, it is the breath of the night. Your heartbeat is no longer yours, it is the pulse of the stars. The circle is complete. The scroll is rolled up and placed in its niche. The lamp is cold. The door is sealed. You are back at the beginning, in the quiet before the dawn of time. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to be. Just stay here, in the center of the deep. Stay here, in the heart of the silence. The journey is over. The rest is eternal. Sleep now. Sleep in the deep time. Sleep in the ancient dark. Sleep, sleep, sleep.